Hope that you're well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 7 English lesson on parallel structure. Parallel structure. So, we'll be doing our grade 7 English lesson on parallel structure. And before we start with our lesson on parallel structure, we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged into aplusstudents.ca with your username as well as your password, and then you're going to select the subject of language arts. And then grade 7. Once we've selected the subject of language arts, grade 7, then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of parallel structure. So chapter is parallel structure, and today we're going to basically find out what parallel structure is. So our chapter for today is parallel structure. Our subject is English language arts, grade 7, and the lessons that we're going to be focusing on is to use parallel structures. And we are doing our lesson, our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So you can even go back, recap, go over certain things by going to aplusstudents.ca. All right. So parallel structures, right? So we said that our chapter is parallel structure. We are doing the subject of English language arts, grade 7, and the lessons is to use parallel structure. So we basically are going to find out what a parallel structure is, and it is when two or more words or even phrases or clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction to form a series, right? And those elements must be parallel in structure. So when two or more words, phrases, or clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction to form a series, those elements must be parallel in structure. And parallel elements have the same grammatical function in the sentence. For example, the community center is a hub of activity and well equipped for meetings. The second element is not a phrase. And then we have the community center is a hub activity and a well known equipped meeting space. So we basically have, let's say, two sentences, right, that are basically joined by a conjunction, right, to form a series. Like, for example, we have the community center is a hub activity and well known equipped for meetings. So we use a word and to join those words or sentence, not even sentence, the words, right? So we say the parallel structure, it also means using the same pattern of words to show that two or more ideas have the same level of importance. So it's like saying something in a slightly different way, but we need to now find out if it is grammatically right or grammatically wrong. In the sentence. And here we have the two examples, right? It is the community center is a hub of activity and well equipped for meetings. Or the second one says that the community center is a hub of activity and a well equipped meeting space. So in this case, it's as if they are trying to formulate, if that's the word, formulate the sentences by using grammatically correct words, either well equipped for meetings or well equipped meeting space. And for joined verb phrases, right? For joined verb phrases, each phrase must contain its own helping or modal verb, or the initial helping or modal verb must apply to all the phrases. And now, if we look at like a few examples, right? It says Sarah will order the flowers, pick up the decorations, and might help us set up. So this is now where we use the verb phrases, right? So I'm going to basically read it again. This is where we use the verb phrase. It says Sarah will order the flowers, pick up the decorations, and might help us set up. And yeah, they said that we need to use our own. It must contain your own helping or modal verb. And we have another one that says Sarah will order the flowers, will pick up the decorations, and might help us sit up. So in this case, right, with the verbs, it's like there's different ways in which you can basically either say something or express yourself in, right? So, like here they're saying, and for joined verb phrases, each phrase must contain its own helping verb or modal verb, right? And then here examples are written down of Sarah will order the flowers, right? Or do we just say will pick up the decorations or might help us set up? So it's basically only the one in the middle, which is will order the flowers, will pick up the decorations, and might help us set up. So we either bring our own helping verb or use the initial helping verb of the model verb, which we basically have to apply to all phrases or phrases. And then we have correlative conjunctions, right? So coordinating conjunction is like and, but, so, or. Now we have a correlative conjunction. And a correlative conjunction, like both or and, either or, neither, nor, and not only but also, must also join parallel elements. For example, Liesel is neither tall nor is she particularly athletic. Liesel is neither tall nor particularly athletic. So if we look at the word, for example, tall, and then it is she particularly athletic or particularly athletic? So it says Liesel is neither tall nor is she particularly athletic. Or do we say Liesel is neither tall nor particularly athletic? And the first element is an adjective, right? It's where it describes a noun or it tells us about the noun. And then the second element, is she particularly athletic, is a clause. So if we look at the next one, right, it's basically a continuation, but now let's do the activities. It says a typical physique of a competitive swimmer, whether male or female, is tall, and is it sine away or sine way? So basically, we are describing, or they are describing, how, let's say, swimmers are actually built. So the typical physique of a competitive swimmer, whether male or female, is tall, broad shoulders. So tall and broad shoulders. So broad shoulders and sine away. So that is basically describing how a swimmer is built, right? And here we said that we look at other elements within the series where they are adjectives. And remember, we say that it is an adjective and it describes the noun, or it tells us about the noun. So the missing element must also be an adjective, right? Or an adjective phrase. And an adjective and the words that modify it, right, is broad shoulders. It basically tells us about, let's say, a swimmer and how a swimmer is built. So broad shoulders is our word. Creating mnemonic devices such as acronyms or songs can make it easier to memorize obscure facts and can turn oopsie, and can turn a grueling study session into a fun game. So we're sitting creating mnemonic devices such as acronyms or songs can make it easy to memorize obscure facts, right? Studying methods, for example, and can turn a grueling study session into a fun game, which means that the more you come up with certain ideas in order to help with your studying, right, it's basically going to work for you, but it will also make it a bit easier, right? Instead of just the parrot fashion way of reading the same thing over and over and over and trying to repeat it, right? There are certain things that you need to memorize and also a balance of things that you need to understand and apply. So we said that may help with test preparation. Remember with test preparation that we made earlier on, anything that works for you, right? If reading over something constantly helps you to extract information, that works for you. But also when it comes to, it says creating mnemonic devices such as acronyms or songs can make it easier to memorize obscure facts, may help with test preparation, and can turn grueling study session into a fun game. So basically, this is just looking at certain series of elements, right? And then trying to fit the correct or best possible, let's say, wording within a sentence. That is, of course, grammatically right. And the marathon runners followed a circuit route along the river. So we see the marathon runners followed a circuitous route along the river and through the wetlands. So if we look for a certain word, so it says that they are prepositional phrases. So the missing element must also be prepositional phrase, right? Which is over the bridge, which means that the marathon runner followed a circuitous route along the river, over the bridge, and through the wetland. So the marathon runners followed a circuitous route along the river, over the bridge, and through the wetland. All right, let's go to our test. Let's go next. Our test. So we're going to begin our test. We need to complete the sentence, right? So which means that we will have two words or phrases, and we're gonna have to put those words or phrases in the box. So we need to complete the sentence. An orca on the whale watching tour, but she also captured some amazing footage of the group of harbor porpoises. So we need to, for example, choose one of these and then put it within the sentence in order to see that it's correct. So do we say Rosa saw not only an orca on the whale watching tour, but she also captured some amazing footage of a group of harbor porpoises? Or do we say not only did Rosa see, so not only did Rosa see an orca, but she also captured some amazing footage of the group. So if we choose the correct one, we will say not only did Rose one see an orca on the whale watching tour, but she also captured some amazing footage of a group of harbor porpoises. All right. Then we need to complete the sentence. It says Seattle Woodstock. So Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo aims to help endangered animal species both by educating visitors and, do we say, breeding animals in captivity? So Seattle Woodland Park Zoo aimed to help endangered animal species both by educating visitors and breeding animals in captivity. So we say that Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo aims to help endangered animal species by educating visitors and by breeding animals in captivity. So Seattle's Woodland Park aims to help endangered animal species both by educating visitors and by breeding animals in captivity. All right. The proposed bike path would run along the west side of the interstate under the viaduct and past the baseball fields. Oopsie. So it says the proposed bike would run along the west side of the interstate under the viaduct and past the baseball fields or continue the baseball fries. Fields, not fries, fields. So we said that the proposed bike path would run along the west side of the interstate under the viaduct and continue past the baseball fields or past the baseball fields. So we said that the proposed bike law use or under the viaduct and continue past the baseball field. So we can maybe say continue past the baseball fields. Let's choose. Oh, so it's basically to pass the baseball fields, not to continue to pass the baseball field. So once our dog Rex spied the rabbit, he scrambled under the fence through the recently planted garden and raced past the garden, or do we say past the garden in pursuit? So we can then basically and raced past the garden in pursuit of it. Able. So through the recent planted garden and past the garage. Oh, in pursuit. Isn't it race past the garden? Okay. So creating mnemonic devices such as acronyms or songs can make it easier for memorize obscure facts, may help with the test preparation, and can turn a grueling study session into a fun game. So we can maybe say may help with a so can make it easier to memorize obscure facts, help with the test preparation, and can turn a grueling study session into a fun game. Able may help. So on any given day, my fickle toddler might choose to hoard his toys, to share them peaceably with his friends, or abandon them altogether in favor of television. So, or to abandon them altogether in favor of television. So, to abandon them. And then with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize prices to create jobs, and to invest in public works, or do we say invest in public works? So with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize prices to create jobs and to invest in public works. So also to invest in public works. And to invest is correct. So either Jenny will take the time to get a scuba diving certification, or will miss her family's planned vacation. or she will miss her family's planned dive. She will miss. And then the numerous rings that surround the planet Saturn have varying thickness and masses, orbit the planet at different distances, and do we say at different speeds or and rotate at different speeds? So we basically say and it rotates on different speeds. So and it rotates on different speeds is correct. So that is basically how we use parallels. It's like where we can use, it's like words that are similar in meaning. So maybe it's like one or two words that is like, let's say, not even wrong, but difficult to use. And then there's a different way in which we may use it, right? So it's like when two or more words, phrases, or clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction to form a grammatical to form a series, those elements must be parallel in structure. And parallel elements have the same grammatical functions within the sentences. So it's of course basically how sentences are being used and structured, right? And then we made a few examples as well as our test on parallel structure. And for joined verb phrases, right? So we also have verb phrases. Each phrase must contain its own helping verb or modal verb, or the initial helping or modal verb must apply to all of the phrases. Alto one. So Sarah will continue, will order the flowers, pick the decorations, and might help us set up. So she will. So there's like different ways in which we may write the parallel structure, right? It's either with the she, without the she, he with the he. We'd say basically with or without the pronoun. So do we say Sarah will order the flowers, pick up decorations, and might help us set up? Or Sarah will order the flowers, will pick up the decorations, and might help us with the flowers? And that is usually the second sentence. All right, so that is basically the end of our lesson, grade sevens on parallel structure. And we said parallel structure is when two or more words or phrases or even clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction to form a series, right? Those elements must be parallel in structure, must be parallel elements, and evidence elements have the same grammatical functions within the sentences. So the grammatical structures within the sentences needs to be the same or at least needs to be similar. All right. All right, so that is basically the end of our lesson on parallel structure, right? Thank you very much for joining the class, and I really hope you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.